Point number 2 of the top 10 list, not focusing on quality. And what is our quality equation? It's this: perfect visits is the cure for quality and economic woes. Both of these ills are effectively cured with one single elegant move. And we've got a lot of our clients that move in this direction and have seen just astronomical results. One CEO, and she had worked with 2 other large hospices that had focused on this. And so when she got to her 3rd stop, she knew exactly what was the first thing to do to transform the organization. You start here. Or it's one of the starting places, because it'll do both of these things with one swoop. And it makes sense. Why? It's about the mission. It's about the mission. So perfect, as we know, is to the standards of the organization. So we're talking about standards. Because we have to be near flawless in our hospice work, because our return policy is non-existent. In fact, it sucks. There are no redos. We can't blow it with John here and say, hey, John, why don't you get back in the body and let's try that one again. It doesn't work like that. But we owe it to our communities and those we serve to offer this meticulously considered experience where every aspect has been orchestrated to really to create this beautiful care. That's what we do. And so the patient chair comes into it, and anyone that's doing the model, of course, is doing that. And we've got all this support stuff, so you should have one of these in every IDT room. And if you have to, you got our cool bands that you can put on and make any chair a patient chair, and then all the things that support your IRMs and things to support the clinician to do perfect visits, especially when they're in a low energy state or they're exhausted after from whatever the day's activities are. But just to quickly go through this, and some slides or sections will go faster than others, just know that. These first 2 are a little more involved. How perfect visits cure most quality and financial woes. First of all, people are happy. Patients and families are happy. Complaints are rare. Team sizes of clinical managers easily increase. Billing goes out the day after the month. Boom, there's no chasing paper. You have less compliance staff. You can audit these things. You're not going to find hardly anything. 5, marketers don't have to lie because quality is easy to sell in a broken healthcare world. What happens with all this quality? Census increases as a direct result of this focus on radically increased quality. What happens when the census goes up? Financial surge. What follows the financials? CAP scores go as high as they can go. Less staff are needed in the indirect areas, so you can flatten, and you don't have to worry about looking good in an orange jumpsuit. All these things are derived from focusing on this one area, perfect visits with perfect documentation. And of course, to get there, let's see if I can go through this really quick. Very important slide. You define your visit structure for your clinical disciplines. You get your perfect documentation in place for, I recommend this, COPD, CHF, dementia, some kind of generic cancer, but you've got to have something that you can train clinicians what great narratives look like and just documenting slow decline looks like, all that. All materials are created for System 7, self-learning modules, pre-recorded visit scenarios, manuals, all that. IRMs, like this and things like this are created to support the clinicians. And then you start to train your managers. You train them using a non-deviating 7-step system under stress conditions using pre-recorded visit scenarios of escalating complexity in synthetic labs. Once our managers are trained, then we start to bring our A players through. I usually do it 4 to 6, probably about max at a time. And then I bring my C people in, and you can go through hundreds of employees very quickly with about 2 to 3 half-day sessions. And you certify them And then the final step is a portion of compensation is directly attached to doing the visit and the documentation to 100% of the standards, where every paycheck is impacted. And all, of course, our systems, our EMR, financial systems, are sensitized to detect deviations from standard. Key. Some people get overwhelmed when they come on with MVI. You can really almost get it down and do just a few things. You start by getting your financials and benchmarking set up. Why? So you know exactly where to work. Next, you focus on perfect visits with perfect documentation. You do this in every case that we find. And then you start to evolve your comp systems over time to do the accountability for you, because that's really what causes it all to go. And of course, just a few pictures here of just different labs. This one's right off reception because you want to show it off. I mean, just different. Anyway, they're just all over the place. And then, of course, there's the latest visit structure. We see all the CAP scores. More CAP scores are impacted by teaching than anything else. And then you want to link that knowledge with your third test of the main CAPS question, link it back to the visit steps so the clinicians can link that.